Hello everyone, my name is Brenden Pugh, and in today's video we're going to be talking about AI. Huzzah! So the question is coming up a lot. AI has really taken over our whole world and taken over everything that we do online and whatever, and so there's a lot of questions about it, and rightly so. Is it a good thing to use? Is it a bad thing to use? What are the ethics of using it? And I think everyone is trying to figure out how to navigate that and try to figure it out. And I'm kind of one of those people that's always in the middle on technology. I am a technology guy. I do love technology. I love dealing with all of it and learning about it and all that kind of thing. But I'm definitely always someone who's in the middle. So like the Apple Vision Pro is a great example. If I look at the Apple Vision Pro, I think, man, the technology of that is super cool. There's so many great use cases. There's so many great ways to use it. There's a lot of interesting and cool things that are going to come from the Apple Vision Pro. On the other hand, I definitely don't think that we should be walking around with essentially an iPhone or a Mac computer strapped to our face all of the time. And I think there's going to be some social consequences to that. I think there's going to be some issues with that down the road. So again, with any new technology, there's always this kind of what's the right way to use it? What's the wrong way to use it? Yes, it can be helpful, but also it can be destructive. And so our job is to figure out how to deal with that. Artificial intelligence has really risen a lot, especially since the beginning of ChatGPT, and has basically taken over the whole world, and it is definitely not going away. And I think that it's wise of all of us to not just either write it off and also not just jump into it and use it right away. So I think it's important for us as artists to consider, how do we use this as a tool? What's a right way to use it? What's a wrong way to use it? What works for the artist to keep their artistic integrity while still using it as something that could maybe help them along the way. AI has and will continue to change the world. It's definitely, again, as I said, not going away. And so I think I've always maintained, and I've said this before in other videos, those who can maintain their artistic creativity and their artistic integrity will always do better than things that are created completely from AI. I think that we as humans still want to connect with a real author, a real human, a real filmmaker. Part of the reason again, I've said this before, part of the reason I love Lord of the Rings is because I also like to study about Tolkien. I like Brandon Sanderson's books, not just because of his books, but because of Brandon Sanderson himself. I like to know the author. I like to know who is behind creating it. There's a lot of filmmakers like that. People love the original Star Wars and George Lucas because in part of the story of George Lucas. And so I think that those who can still create originally and those who can create without kind of undermining themselves artistically and not using AI just straight up to create the thing, but to use it as a tool to help you create the thing, those types of artists will still always be ahead of those who are just using it to create it, just using the AI to create the thing. So like anything else, I think that there's a time and a place for AI. I think you can use it as a tool. And the way that I kind of define a tool in the artistic sense, and in most cases, is that a tool is something that does not create anything on its own, but it can be used by a creator to create something.